I'm striving to get rich. That's why I always went 2 years without buying shoes and feet. Things change now. My mom hearing me with my music and she look a little proud.
Yo, what's up, guys? APW Sports signing in for another video. There's some Chicago Bears news that has just dropped as the Chicago Bears are planning to hire their next general manager, and that will be Ryan Poles from the Kansas City Chiefs. But before I get into that, make sure you guys leave this video a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. But the Bears have finally made their move at the general manager spot, and they've hired Ryan Poles from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as we all know, the Kansas City Chiefs have one of the most talented rosters in the league. Whether it's Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, Ryan Poles has had a hand in getting the talent on that roster. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, is one of the more talented teams in the league. And to get a guy that has been with that organization since 2009, and the Kansas City Chiefs has been a very successful organization since 2009 and having a real staple hold over the AFC West due to a lot of the talent that they have drafted and due to a lot of the talent that they have brought in free agency. And Ryan Poles has had a hand in that roster and constructing that Kansas City Chiefs roster. He started off with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2009 as a player personnel assistant. He was a college scouting administrator from 2010 to 2016. He was the director of the college scouting in 2017. As we all know, 2017, that was the year that Patrick Mahomes was drafted. And in 2018 to 2020, he was the assistant director of player personnel. And this year, 2021, he was named the executive director of player personnel. Now, he's had a hand in scouting the talent that is on this Kansas City Chiefs roster. Now, he comes in with a lot of job to do, whether it's from contracts, whether it's from getting this Bears offensive line right, whether it's putting the necessary pieces around Justin Fields, which I think is the biggest sole job of the next Bears general manager in Poles. I think the biggest job that he will have to come in and do is make sure that, number one, he hires the right coach to develop Justin Fields, and number two, he puts the necessary pieces around Justin Fields on the offensive side of the ball to help the Chicago Bears offense succeed. Now, the Bears roster right now, of course, now is not in any bit of a high competitive level, but the Bears do have a ton of contract issues to kind of work out and sort out, whether it will be Akiem Hicks pending free agency, whether we're going to retain Danny Trevathan's contract, what are they going to do with the offensive line? Are they going to draft another guy? Are they going to re-sign Jason Peters? They have a lot of questions on that front. What is going to happen with the Allen Robinson contract situation? So Ryan Poles comes in with a big job on his hand. Mainly is the Justin Fields situation. But his track record with the Kansas City Chiefs has proven that he has a very good eye for talent, he has a very good eye for scouting, and he has a very good eye for getting guys that necessarily fit the roster. Now, this is a bit of an odd fact, but he has a Chicago connection with the Bears as he was signed as an undrafted free agent in 2008 before he went into the executive realms with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Poles has been with the Kansas City Chiefs his entire career, which spans 13 NFL seasons. And it is kind of odd that the Bears go back to the Chiefs to get either a head coach or a general manager. And as we all know, Nagy was hired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. He was once the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Bears are going back towards that Andy Reid Kansas City Chiefs organization. But I believe this move is a very good move for the Chicago Bears. They get a young general manager. He's 36 years old. They get a guy who's had a ton of experience, even though he's 36. He's been with the Kansas City Chiefs for 13 years, and he's had a hand in making up the roster that is currently now sitting in the AFC Championship game. They are in their fourth consecutive AFC Championship game and have an opportunity to go to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. And a lot of the talent that he's drafted on that roster and a lot of the talent that he's scouted on that roster is still one of the core pieces of that roster. So even though he has a lot of job on his hands as far as making up this Bears roster and getting things necessarily right for Justin Fields, as in hiring the next head coach, this move for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, I have some hopes for. I believe that they can have some real successful things happen to them. Now, I am one to say that this Bears roster is not necessarily going to be Super Bowl contenders right away, but I believe with his experience with that Kansas City Chiefs organization and how they were able to build that roster, I really have faith that he would be able to come into Chicago and build this Bears roster to be Super Bowl contenders in the near future and to get the right necessary pieces to help Justin Fields succeed, not only on the roster, but as well as the very next head coach that he hires, which is rumored to be Jim Caldwell, but we'll still have to wait and see how that plays out. But I am APW Sports signing out, just giving you guys a quick update about the Bears general manager situation, and they've hired Ryan Poles to be the next GM. I am signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.